Welcome to Friday Football Fever Week 8 edition. I am Albert Alvarado, sports reporter with the Killeen Daily Herald. Alan Mandel's on the disabled list this week, so I'll be subbing in as host. Let's talk about Killeen ISD football. It's going to be a busy week at Leo Buckley Stadium. Shoemaker takes on Heights on Saturday. Killeen, Ellison get it on Friday. First, let's talk about Shoemaker and Heights. Shoemaker's coming off of a tough 44-6 loss to Waco Midway last week. Now, they come into this game. I went to practice this week. Coach Hall, you can see the teams. The guys had a different focus, especially after that first district loss. Derek Thomas, who has been turning it on, had some really good games running that read option since district play started. Really before district play started, had a bit of a coming out game against Canyon. But, with Shoemaker behind 35-0 in the first half, the Grey Wolves had to change things up a bit, throw a little bit more, put in Joseph Massey and Demetrius Taylor there at quarterback against Midway in the second half. You could tell they're way more comfortable just grinding it out on the ground and running and letting Derek do his thing. Now, Shoemaker, like I said, fell behind early. Big part of that was field position. Midway, as talented as they are, they had way better field position in that first half, had shorter yards to go, and that's a big reason why they put up those first 5 quick touchdowns. Conversely, Shoemaker is backed up inside their own 25 in 5 of their first 7 drives. So, short field, long field, it's a big reason why Shoemaker got off to a tough start. Now, Midway, before playing Shoemaker, did beat Heights 51-0, a game that Jordan Mason, our Heights Ellison reporter, did cover. Jordan, tell me about Heights. Now, they've had a bye week. Tell me about how they plan to approach this game against Shoemaker.
Well, the bye week came at a pretty good time for Harker Heights. And Coach Edwards, talking to him yesterday, said it couldn't have come at a better time, actually. Not just because you're coming off a disappointing loss, but they were able to rest. They got some people back. No morning practices, which the kids obviously liked. But then also, you had the short week this week going into the game on Thursday, and they were actually able to stay on schedule. He said they basically treated last Thursday like Monday, and they stayed on schedule. So obviously that's big for Heights. And something else I noticed going into this one is that they kind of got that chip on their shoulder again. They came into district, and they had a really impressive win against Ellison, but now you lose 51-0 to Midway, and that's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. So they lost big to Temple, and when they came out against Ellison, they said they just wanted to get that taste out of their mouth. So probably a similar mentality here against Shoemaker, team that beat them pretty soundly last year. They had won 2 straight last year before they played Shoemaker, and then Shoemaker, they really kind of punched them in the mouth at Leo Buckley last year and sent them on a tailspin that they didn't win a game after that. So obviously Shoemaker was one of the better teams in the district last year. This is a chance for Heights to prove itself, and that's kind of been their calling call this year. They really want to prove the naysayers wrong, and they were talking about it again this week. So obviously Shoemaker with a lot of talent, very similar teams. Obviously Shoemaker has Derek Thomas, Heights has Troy Smith. So, they say seeing Troy in practice every day, they feel like the defense feels like they're better able to deal with Shoemaker this year, because last year Zaire Banner and Coy Blunt and those guys had a field day. They weren't able to stop them. So they feel more prepared this year, and then obviously the Heights offense is going to be looking to get going after 0 points. That's just something they're not accustomed to at all. So Heights really ready to go in this rivalry of the 2 newest schools in Killeen, and then obviously on Friday you'll have a rivalry with the 2 oldest schools in Killeen, Killeen Ellison. And obviously you're the Killeen writer. You've seen Killeen. What are they looking at in this game?
Well, last week, you're getting onto the rivalry. When I went to practice this week, Coach Jones said this isn't about the rivalry. This is about Ellison being 0-3, Killeen being 0-2 in district. You need a win. I mean, you can't go if you're Killeen 0-3 and think, well, you still have a good shot at the playoffs. Conversely, if you're Ellison, you can't go 0-4 and think we can still make it. This is a must-win game for both teams. I mean, it's not about, the Roos and the Eagles. It's about winning and getting that first district win and trying to get into the playoffs. Now, Killeen, last week at Leo Buckley, 33-32 lost to Belton. When 1 point is different, you have so many things that you look back and you think could have done better. You have Killeen that missed, Killeen missed 2 extra points in this game. Special teams gave up a 60-yard punt return to Cody Potvin that gave Belton really good field position. There was a botched punt that gave Belton the ball on their own on the Killeen 14 It led to a Tiger field goal. So there were so many, little things. Killeen had that last drive in the last minute and 30 seconds or so on their own 9. Before that, there was a fumble on the kickoff that gave Belton the ball in Killeen territory. So there's just so many little things that I think Coach Jones and that coaching staff can point to and say, hey, we need to do better here, we need to do better there. That was really the difference in the extra point. On the plus side, though, Kenny Arnold had a heck of a game, was Player of the Week, Killeen Daily Herald, PressBox.com Player of the Week nominee because of his big game. It looked like Dante Ellis-Thomas got things going, even though he was double covered a lot. He still came down with a lot of balls, including, on the last play of the game, a reception, despite triple coverage. So there were a lot of positives there, especially when you see Arnold and Ellis-Thomas kind of getting in the groove again. That points to some good things for Killeen as they head up against Ellison and their talented quarterback.
Yes, well, Coach Gregory talking to him today, obviously very pleased with the progress of Carl Thomas. I mean, he looked good at times against Copper's Cove last week, who has a very athletic defense, one of the more feared ones in the district, as you talk to coaches every week. And Christian Jackson came through with 5 catches for 129 yards for Ellison. So a lot of weapons on the edge for Ellison, but very, very similar to Coach Jones, Coach Gregory. Ellison's pretty level-headed week to week. They try not to, make these games any bigger than they are, but Coach Gregory said this one, they got to have this one. Obviously, if you're looking to make the playoffs, you can't be 0-4. And then Killeen has the same mentality. So that's big. You've got Killeen, Ellison. Coach said that he's had multiple people come in to talk to the team about the history of this rivalry, the 2 oldest schools in Killeen, the only school before Ellison comes in 78, and talking to the players about that. It's also homecoming week for Ellison. So a lot of potential distractions, but Coach Gregory and those guys have prided themselves on being focused and staying focused on the task at hand, and that's what they're looking to do again this week. Obviously, Killeen, a very formidable opponent, even if you take away all the rivalry aspects. But then when you add all that in, you have the makings of a very big game at Leo Buckley on Friday, and obviously 2 teams who are very hungry for a win and need a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. So it should be a fun one.
Now, you mentioned homecoming. You're going to see a lot of mums, and you're going to see a lot of really good stories from us this week when it comes to all our football games. Be sure to go to kdhpressbox.com for our previews and for our game stories. Thank you.